Oh, how'd that work? Wizzy, you're here. How'd I get in? I'm not staying, guys. I just wanted to know how it was working. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Italian. Hi, Hope. Hi, Rocky Dog. Hi, Linda Lou. Hi, Black Diamond. Hi, Chuck. Hi, Crazy Carolina. I just wanted to know how it was working. Wait, I'm going back out so somebody else can click in.
Anyways, I just want to say I hope you have a good Friday and glad to see you're back. Hopefully everything works out for you. Have a good day.
People to see in here.
Okay, who's coming up?
These objects are of very intense interest because it means that a new technology is being harnessed by some unknown party. They could be even, perhaps, extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial USOs flying into the world's oceans. For some, that may sound like something of science fiction. But curiously, more than a decade after Tic Tac hits, the United States Navy continues to detect USOs off the coast of Southern California.
Hey, Craig. No, not from Uranus. Come on up.
Flying in the same area, recorded video which you can.
Who's coming up? Everybody has so much to say. Now's our chance. It's not my TV. It's not me. There you go. It was somebody else. Christopher. Okay, come on. I don't know why it's not my TV. Can you hear me now without it in the background? Sherry, this is Christine M. I think what Chris is trying to do is that we have all had so much to say, and now he's given us a perfect opportunity. Who's coming up? Well, I can start it. Chris, we've missed you. Not sure how or why you're doing this, but we've missed you. Wanda Lisa, you're welcome to come up with me. We've all had so much to say, and now nobody wants to come up here and say a darn thing. Well, I have a few things to say, and I'm probably going to say what a few people are thinking and just don't want to come up here. I miss his robes. You like that? Well, then, Gra, why aren't you up here? Everybody always wants in the box. Everybody always has something to say. Everybody has always their 2 cents. Chris is allowing it. Gra's not banning anyone today, right, Gra? You're coming up. Hey, Brett, I'm sure Chris is either remote and listening or hiding behind the curtain. I'm sure of it, because how else are we getting up here? We're not. Somebody's letting us up because you go to the backstage first. CNA, I don't know. Ask him. He's there. You want to come up and ask him? Troy, come on up. You can do work later. Yeah, what do I want to talk about? There has been so much flipping drama, and it's about minimal things that are going on in the country. Why? Why? Why are we at each other's throats? Why are we threatening each other? Why are we all whining and yelling and screaming? All of us, I know for a fact, I have been friends with some of these people on here for years, some a few months. Why are we all yelling? And I know you did, Brett. I know. But what I'm trying to say is that Chris has given us the perfect opportunity. I mean, are we worrying about food prices going up? Are we worrying about gas prices going up? Are we worried about insurance? No. We all want to yell and scream at one another and who did what right and I can do it better than you. I mean, seriously. Right? Look at your bank accounts. Look at your IRAs. Look at your 401. It sucks. But no, we want to worry about somebody did something and somebody said something and we're threatening.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Hello, people.
Hi, everybody. Oh, I'm echoing. I'm sorry.
So my question would be, why is everybody here?
Well, from what I'm going to gather, oh my goodness. I don't know how to get the echo out. Hold on.
Okay, I heard it was basically about people fighting along with each other and not getting along and whatnot. I got news for you. In our country, if you're not together with everybody else, you're in trouble. I think the time for fighting amongst ourselves is over, and the time to concentrate on what's going on in the United States of America is more important. But
Is it?
listen,
I mean, is it? Because I mean, people go, we need to heal the divide, but neither side wants to like give up room or space, right? And then you have one side who are complete fucking psychopaths and threatening to go to people's homes and showing the means and measures of what they're going to do, and they actually do it. And then everyone goes, we need to heal the divide. It's garbage. It's shit.
sounds like a lot of personal problems, but when you're looking at what's going on in the country right now, do they all add up to being able not to fight what's going on?
What does that even mean?
I mean, I may not be coming through very clear, but don't you think the little squabbles and arguments and all that stuff are not really worth?
Okay,
Not
what if I threaten to come and rape your wife and put a gun in your face? You think I really fucking care what happens in the price of eggs in California?
well, the
Don't
only
be
thing
bullshit.
just about somebody threatening to rape your wife with a gun is get a bigger gun and tell them to come on.
And what if you live in a state that doesn't have stand your ground laws, right? You have castle doctrine.
Castle doctrine is fine. There's no problem
Oh,
with
I
that.
mean, I have to wait for them to enter my house, don't I?
If you're in a state that does not allow you to have a gun,
I can have
you're
a
in the
gun.
wrong place.
But the problem is, what's the average call on a police officer? Is that like 20 some minutes to come?
Well, I can tell you what right now, my
Listen,
average
yeah.
emergency response time is to pick up a gun.
Yeah.
I'm not here promoting gun violence. I'm not here promoting guns or none of that crap. But you got to get smart, America.
So yeah. So what
If
happens when you
somebody's
have
going to come
people?
after you with a gun, to get a gun to protect yourself. Don't
Okay.
carry
So
it.
what happens when you have people online that's showing bullets, and they're going, "I'm going to go around the United States, and I'm going to fucking kill people that
Okay.
disagree with me,
Then you
and I'm going to rape
turn.
them, and I'm going to kill them, and
I get what
here's what I'm going to use. Here's how I'm going to do it, and here's how I'm going to fund this." And when you
Okay.
call the police and they don't file terroristic fucking threats against these fucking people, which I don't even understand,
Well, the
and everyone
police,
goes, "We need to heal the divide."
sir, the police are in a
This is
police
shit.
state. They are not here to serve you.
Oh,
I'm
they
sorry.
are. That's literally the
No,
description of
they
having
are
a police
not.
department. That is,
The Supreme Court said that the police no longer have to protect and serve. That went through the Supreme Court.
mhm.
That's the way it is.
So you're saying F12? Are you going to say ACAB?
I'm saying that if you have a problem and you can't deal with it, you
No,
get
I
your
can
neighbors
deal with
to
it.
watch out for you and you deal with it.
No, I can
If
deal with it. I'm
somebody's
tired.
threatening to go around, if somebody's threatening to go around and blow shit up and shoot people, don't call your local police, call the FBI. Yes, they're corrupt, but they got to do something. I'm sorry, it's just the way life is.
And then everyone goes on here and says, "We're going to cry about an anniversary card."
Well, that's somebody crying about an anniversary. Who gives a fuck? I'm sorry, excuse my language, please. I apologize. But seriously, it is that more important than the government showing up at your door, taking all of your property, putting you in jail, and saying you're a terrorist? You don't deserve any of this shit. So there you go. And again, I
Well, I
apologize.
personally believe terrorists don't deserve to. I don't believe they're part of society. And we build prisons and we put them fucking in it. Isn't that part of the social contract?
Well, now you're talking about contracts,
We have a social contract.
a social
When we're
contract.
thrown into the world, we're thrown into the rules and regulations that has been written, and we have to abide by these rules. All right,
Who
because
says
when
you
we
have
abide
to?
by these rules, that's what creates a regular society. There's a social contract. Yes.
Okay. I'm not really follow the platform very much. I know the person that runs the platform. We've met at a few things. You're going to have to pull yourself out
The
of.
WYSI agrees with the social.
Just pull yourself out of what's going on in our country right now and all the stuff that you're talking about, and go to just what's happening. Anniversary dates, birthdays, threats against your life. Believe it or not, and I hate to say this, they don't mean a whole lot, because right now the government is threatening everybody's life as you stand.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful. All right, I'm gonna get off here. I'll talk to you guys later.
No, I appreciate you talking, and I'm willing to sit here and listen to anybody. I love listening to people. I don't want to be the only one talking. So somebody else join on and say something. Or I can drop off if you want me to. Maybe I'm in the wrong group. I know there's at least two other people's boxes showing. Am I on the wrong channel here, guys? You want me to get off?
No, it's the right channel.
Okay. So are we trying to correct the governmental problems, or are we just worried about the whatever little issues we have and Somebody said something to me and somebody said something to somebody else. Y'all want to talk about me, man, go for it. I put my real name up there. Hey, dox me, man. I don't care. I'm out here for the country. Maybe I'm on the wrong channel for that. And I can't see any of your comments. I really apologize for that. Lizzie, you can see the comments. Do they want me off or am I okay where I'm at?
Perfect spot. Continue.
Okay. Anybody else want to say something, please?
What's for dinner?
I'll give you my spiel if you want to hear it. Mine's pretty easy. Stop the infighting. It's not important. Stop the whiny bitchy shit. Guess what? That's not important either. If you're not actively trying to help our country get better, and you can use your own imagination there, how do you get better? Well, you go down to your local elections and you take back over your local cities. I ain't talking about guns, I'm talking about voting. When you take over your local centers, you go for your states. And what do I mean by takeover? You vote in people that are going to do the job, and you don't worry about the political party they're in. You just vote them in. That's my spiel.
I agree with you 100%, Mike. You start at local level and you work your way up. You can't fix DC until you fix the local level.
My audio sucks. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to go ahead and drop off so I can hear the rest of this, but I'll join back in if y'all want me to. It's, well, no. Now I got to. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to drop out,
No,
but
you're
I'll be
fine.
on for
I
a
was agreeing
while.
with you.
Let's see my audio. I can't hear what's going on. So I'll drop out, listen to y'all, and I can come back on if you want me to. So I'll be right back.
Hello, Christine. No, I agree with what he's saying. You start at the local level, and that's how you fix DC. We got to do it together. Uh, Nobody talking?
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
I can hear you, Miss Odd.
Thanks.
No, I think every American needs to come together and fix the issues on the local level, and that will fix what's in DC.
Gra,
A lot
your
of people
fan club. Your fan club's calling, Gra.
a lot of people forget the people in DC come from the local level. Come on up, Troy. I know you're sitting there, Wysi. And
How do we really know it's Wysi? Maybe somebody hacked him.
I know better than that. I know better than that. I know better than that. What's he showing us?
We don't want to see Wysi. We want to see Tucker.
I guarantee you Tucker's there. Thank you. I'm not sure what that was. What we need is a person or people in offices that are actually for the country, not for themselves. We need things like term limits, get the lobbyist out of DC, and get this country back where it belongs. I'm not sure what he's doing.
Troy, I think you're right.
I think Tucker's running it now. Well, I think they should vote for term limits, and I think they should vote for pay cuts. But that's not going to happen. I just go show how much the people in DC aren't for this country. They're all about them. Their mentality is what's in it for me. Not what's in it for the country, but what's in it for me. And we got to get them to change that mentality. Now, Shirley, that's what you think. That's okay. That's your opinion. Or pro-life, because of everything that's happened in the last two elections, I did, Summer. And that's not what this panel's about. Gotta respect the person in the room you're in.
So, okay, can you hear me now? I think I fixed it.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, see, the little thing he was doing was showing me how to check my mic. So I understand what you're saying, Jeff, but we need to do to fix this country. We got to start voting locally. But how can we even want to get out there and vote when there's so much infighting between everybody? You can't, I don't know what type of community you live in. I can't even walk within my community without somebody fighting because they're right and the other person is wrong. Why is there always a right and a wrong?
Well, I don't know what kind of community you live in. Where I'm at, I can walk around and not be bothered at all.
Well, and we probably live in different communities. I mean, I live in, as you know, I live in an HOA that nobody likes living in. But what I'm saying is that schools even, look at our schools. Right now, our county has been all over the news with kids fighting and bullying. Our kids are fighting. Physical fights. The teachers won't even get in the middle of them because heaven help, little Bobby wasn't in the wrong and the parents come at them. So it's just not about voting. It's about where do we want the country to go with and how do we start with ourselves? Once each one of us changes who we are and instead of saying, oh, it's black and it's white and I'm not doing any gray. So many people do that. And yes, voting's important, but what's the percentage of people getting out there to vote? And how are you going to increase that percent? And I guarantee you, these next two generations, if they stay on the same that they're going, you or I, if it's still our lifetime, we are not going to like the way they vote. We're not.
Well, no, if they stay on the path they're staying on, I already know what the outcome is, and that's not the solution.
Well, what is your solution? Because mine's totally different than yours.
No, the solution is Americans need to stop fighting each other, come together, and work as one to get this country back where it belongs.
How do you get it to there? How do you propose to get it to there?
Well, it's getting out there. The problem is whether they want to apply it or not. You can't force somebody to do something. All you can do is put the information in front of them, and it's up to them to decide what they do with it.
Okay, so if you've got, as people call it, baby boomers, and I know you're not a boomer yet, but you're darn close. Okay?
No.
In another 10 years, and you have to look at that. I look at these teenagers. I deal with them every single day. They're not communicating. They're not understanding. My goodness, one of my grandsons, I asked him who the governor was for Florida. You know what he told me? Pelosi. Are you flipping kidding me? And he's in high school. He's in high school.
Florida's in trouble then.
That's my point. And I am telling you, the other day, my other grandchild told me that he learned more this year by me tutoring him after school than he has in school. We can't get rid of technology. If we got rid of technology, you wouldn't be here. But what we have to do, we have to set some ground rules. Our ground rules have been lost.
You don't have to stop the media, but make them put the truth out there instead of the false narratives.
And I know you can't become a boomer. I was just putting in perception what age Jeff's going to be in 10 years.
So, Chrissy, you don't teach your kid about CRT, do you?
It depends what you're talking about, CRT. Do I let them know about the good and the bad in history? Damn right I do. Do you think that I teach them about slaves and the injustice and our indigenous and the injustice? Absolutely 100% I do.
So all
Do I?
slaves, right? Because everybody was a slave at one point.
Well, my parents, my grandparents, nor my great grandparents were ever a slave. Were yours?
Indentured
Texas, in
servant,
order to
indentured servants. Yeah, I mean that's a little
Oh,
different,
hell,
but still.
a housewife's an indentured servant to some men. I mean, seriously.
Seriously, you don't know about the Irish
I
and many
do.
other cultures?
And I do. And would you like to know something? I'm from a Spaniard heritage. My family's name is Alvarez and Menendez. So, yeah, I do. And I get it. And 2 of my grandchildren are biracial. So, you darn right. I need to teach them what they should have learned in school. And I think how it's presented is what makes it controversial versus non-controversial.
That depends on how people perceive something.
Well, but you know something? I could have whitewashed it, or I could have made it so horrible. It just depends how you're teaching it, what age level, and how much information are you giving them.
But even then, Christine, it's still on how it's perceived.
Well, you're right. And I can't change somebody's perception, but you don't think the presentation is how somebody perceives something also?
If it's done right, yeah, it could.
Okay. Just check in.
So, Chrissy, how far back in history do you go? Like, do you go back to the roots of slavery? For example, like it was black warlords selling black slaves to the white man or the Spanish man,
We
et
have.
cetera, et cetera.
We have. Yes. For my two oldest, my oldest grandson and my oldest granddaughter, because they're at the age, yes. To my next 2 in line, not yet. I give them a little tidbit because they are approaching that age. To the 10-year-olds, not so much. It's geared to age. And I have a question, Andrew. Do you think that's the issue in our country right now?
No, there's deeper issues.
Schooling?
Pardon me?
Yeah, definitely schooling, because you
I'm
brought up
not
you
saying
school
schooling.
your
I'm not
kids.
saying
So, yeah,
schooling.
that's part of it.
Well, you know what's a bigger part of it? Our educators
It
and
goes deeper
all of
than
our
that, though,
classes.
Christine.
Pardon me?
It goes deeper than that.
Well, sure, but how deep are we going to go here? I mean, I'm not going to go back all the way to the 1600s.
No. In order to fix what's going on, you got to go back to where it started going wrong.
And where did it go wrong? And again, as you said, perception.
45 years ago. 45 years ago is when it started.
No, it goes back further than that.
It might, but the biggest hurdle was 45 years ago.
And I have a grandson who is biracial that he thinks the hurdle went back to 2014 with Michael Brown in St. Louis, Missouri.
That goes back farther than
The gentle giant?
No, that's George Floyd in 2020.
No,
And
Michael Brown was the gentle giant, too.
Oh, and what about Trayvon Martin? Oh, yeah. I do a lot of. I'm not hiding things from him, and it's going back more than 45 years ago.
Why don't you go back to the 60s with the assassination of JFK? That's where this country started going south.
I do not see that.
Chrissy, you did educate him about the truth about Michael Brown, right?
No.
Okay, you don't see that the assassination of JFK was the turning point, but yet we're talking about a president that was a president for the people, and that's the reason he was assassinated, because he told both sides, "I'm not going to do your narrative. This is for the people. That's what I was hired for,"
How long
and
was
that's
he
what got him killed.
How long was he president for?
He was just under 2 years,
Okay.
but that's what got him killed. Is he
Well,
was
sure
a
it is.
president for the people, and that's when this country started going south.
Well, and so here's the situation. This is my interpretation. We have an issue in the United States. We have an issue worldwide, but right now we need to worry about the United States. How are we going to get them back on track? How are we going to get our young adults, our middle-aged, our elderly, our children? What are we doing?
Well, like I said last night, the problems that are at hand that every American faces starts with us.
You're right. So we stop making excuses for people.
And we start holding people accountable like politicians who aren't doing their job.
100%. 100%. But what we've got, in my opinion right now, what we've got is every single politician that's in DC right now is destroying us. They are destroying us under our own destruction. We're destructing ourselves. We're destructing ourselves.
But here's the sad part, Christine. A, we voted them in. B, we allow them to do it. But yet, they're supposed to be there representing us. And if we don't step up and say, hey, that's not what I want, this is what we want, you're supposed to represent what we want. You're not. We're going to replace you. But they're not doing that. It's gotten to the point where the politicians have made DC a career. And that's not how it was designed. It was designed to have fresh people coming in with fresh ideas off the streets. Not one person being there for 40 plus years.
Okay, so we know...
Jeff, chat is saying your mic is a little low. Sorry.
No, that's fine. We know what the problem is. We know what the problem is. How do we get there? How do we get there? How in your everyday life? Because you know something? Those people in DC are in DC. We're not going to be able to replace them all. But as a society, in our everyday life, what are we going to do?
Go out there and talk to people.
I do.
So do I. But a lot of Americans don't. They go to work, they come home, they stay in their house, they're placid. That's all they want to do. And we got to get them off of being placid to open their eyes to see actually what's going on. And the only way to do that is go out there for people to speak. Door to door.
No, MW, I don't know. I know that what I see, I don't like. I know there's a lot of disrespect, a lot of me, mine. And I will be perfectly honest with you. The generation of boys I raised, they were trophy boys. Oh, everybody got a trophy. They're passing it on to their children.
That's not how you do it.
Well, I know it's not how you should do it. And there's cycles, through cycles. The whole United States, the whole world goes through cycles. In my opinion, in order to change, it's not going to happen overnight. Could in a decade? 100%. Every one of us need to get out there locally, either run for a district, a school board, a local municipality, be the one to change. It takes one person at a time. And in a decade, we may be able to take over DC. Teach our young. One person at a time. Teach them.
We
Yeah.
can do that each and every day as individuals.
Jeff, are you holding an office?
Have I held an office? Yes.
Are you holding an office?
Right now, no. But
Why
I'm out
not?
there talking.
Why aren't you holding an office? Who are you supporting? Somebody locally? Who did you support in 20? Who were you out there banging on doors, talking to people, giving them flyers, telling them what candidate and what they stood for?
Neither one, because neither one were qualified in my opinion. And they've proven it.
Well, neither are ours. But you know, if we all sit there, oh, they're not worth it, they're not doing it, I'm going to sit at home.
No, like I had said to somebody, what it's going to take is not going to be for a Democrat or a Republican to win an office. It's going to take an independent that's not part of the parties in order to get the ball rolling in the right direction. That way they're not having to follow the narrative for the left or the narrative for the right. They can set their own narrative, which is what's right for the country.
Who's setting that narrative? You know, I'm going to tell you something, Jeff. You know, you and I have been talking for a long time, haven't we? Pretty long.
Did you not hear what I said?
I did. But you know something? I hear when I listen to you running for president, and I'm not making fun of you.
You didn't hear what I said then, Cindy? Or Christine? Sorry.
Excuse
You didn't hear what I
me.
said. I said I'm sorry, but you didn't hear what I said. I said it's going to take somebody that's not a Democrat or a Republican to run for office to flip this thing upside down and get it going back where it belongs. To get away from the parties, because the parties are what's screwing this shit up. It's going to take an independent in order to fix it. Not a businessman or a politician, but an independent that is going to go up there and do the job for what it's meant to do, and that's to represent the people of this country and not themselves.
But you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that right now.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
You're right. I know nothing. The world can end tomorrow.
Nobody can see the future.
I know.
Exactly, Faith. We, the people, have to fix this.
We do. And we need to figure out first how we do it.
Get out there and let people know. Word of mouth. Run ads. Put up billboards.
What about fortune tellers, though? Can't they tell the future?
No, it's all done by the computer. And it's randomly done up.
Killing me.
But people are afraid to get out there and talk to people. And that's because of what this government has created. Because of the divide that they created.
We. They were us.
Yeah, but we allowed them to do it.
Damn right we did. Damn right we did. That's my key question. Talking is not going to change it. Going out
I
talking,
disagree with that.
okay? And we can do that. My opinion, in order to change this, is, oh God, stop that. My opinion is we need to get out there and we need to run for an office. There are plenty of local municipalities, plenty of school boards, plenty of county, plenty of cities, large and small. And your smaller ones, you don't need deep pockets for.
Well, you also don't need to be in an office to get things accomplished.
Well, considering our country runs off of bills and laws made by our people that are sitting in an elected official position, yeah, you kind of do.
Actually, no, you don't.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. You get enough people to go stand in front of a school board or enough people to stand in front of a city council meeting, you can get things accomplished. You can get things changed.
You know what happened at the last
It
school
takes
board meeting?
people in numbers to show that it's a serious issue and it needs to be handled.
Do you know what happened in my last school board meeting I went to?
No, I wasn't there.
Me and 10 of my friends got escorted out by police officers.
Okay, now go back to the next one with 200. See what happens.
Oh, we're handling it. Don't worry about it.
Did you
See what I'm
record it?
saying?
Did you record it?
It is recorded, yeah.
Where
But
could
you
we
see what I'm
find that?
saying? If 10 got escorted out, you go back with 200. They're not going to escort 200 people out. They're actually going to sit there and say, whoa, wait a minute. We might need to hear this.
Did you not see what has happened in Oregon and Washington, where instead of because
Democratic states.
Democratic states, again, did you see what happened?
Well, like I said, Democratic states. Enough. That right there should say it all.
Well, I suppose, but no, I won't accept that because, again, we're not standing up. What they ended up doing out there is that they kept the meeting going. They kept the meeting going. But what they did was took a recess per the guidelines of the law, took a recess, and then went on Zoom. I'm just saying. I get it. It's Democratic states. Could be Republican cities. Republican cities with Democratic states. I'm telling you, I live in a Republican state. Well, it's kind of purple. And I live in a Republican county. And they don't like seeing a group of us coming in. Doesn't question them.
So what's your question?
No, we question them. Oh, I'm sorry. Was Andrew talking?
No, I thought you said you had a question.
No. We question them.
And they should be questioned.
Damn right they should. My tax dollars is paying them. And they get a bigger check than I do at doing less work.
You should also remind that you are their boss.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing that.
But you are. It's a fact. Every American civilian that lives in the boundaries of the United States of America is the boss of every politician that stands down in D.C. right now. Because they are there to work for us, we the people. So we the people are their boss. And if they can't do their job like they're supposed to, that they're getting paid to do, it is our responsibility as Americans to replace them. And tell them, you are now fired, we are replacing you.
Okay, so I want to go back to Hot Miss Summers. She said that's our problem. That's the reason why things will never change, because there's people actually believe, even on this panel, that there is still red and blue until we can make it not red and blue. Ding, 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 ding. I go to a school board meeting. I don't care what you want to think I am. I am going because this is a school board. You're getting my tax dollars. This school board does not have our community in the best interest. They are drawing a paycheck. They're closing the doors on the parents, the grandparents, the teachers. Absolutely not. You are not going to be allowed to do that. When we have an issue with what is being taught, how it's being taught, what our teachers are getting paid versus the rest of the state of Florida or even the area, no, you're listening to us. Right now, there's a huge thing. Our teachers make such low pay and they can't even afford to live in the county that they teach at. So as parents, grandparents, and even the teachers are now, we all have t-shirts supporting pay raises because what they do with that money. All the other teachers got them. Why didn't we? We need to hold them accountable. And that's what I'm talking about. Yes, you're saying get out there and talk to people. When's the last time you've been to a county board meeting? When's the last time any one of you?
Last board meeting was last month. The next one is Monday.
Good for you. And you attend every one, right?
Yep.
Good for
I'm
you.
also attending the city council meeting on the 3rd.
So how many in the audience can say that? How many people can say, Andrew, when's the last time you've been to one? Andrew still with us?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I see him. But what I'm saying, everybody says change, 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 change. Okay. First of all, we need to hold ourselves accountable. Second of all, we need to see what change we want. Third of all, we need to be the change. We need to start local.
Well, somebody in the room had mentioned something that I agree with, that in order to effectively get things to change, you got to educate yourself on the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the preamble. That way, when you go up against these politicians, you got the upper hand. Because we all know they don't know it. They've proven that. And that gives you a slight edge in order to get things flowing in the right direction to get change to happen.
And then when you do that, you need to figure out where you're at, what you want to highlight, and you get that part alone and you hand it to every one of them. But that's still not, if we don't do it locally, it's not happening. DC is not listening to us. And you can't go protest DC because everybody and their mother does, and they're not even there.
Well, you can't go at DC.
I know.
You got to hit them at home.
Local. Yep.
Because that's where they're all at. That's where they come from. Everybody in DC is from your hometown. And that's where you get them. Because you trying to go to DC to hit them, that's a whole different world there, because you're not dealing with a state. You're dealing with a territory. Whole different set of rules. So you catch them on the home turf, at home, and then once you get that fixed, then you take that with you to DC, and you got a better hand.
So, we're talking local, and I'm giving examples of what I'm living in and what I'm trying to do. Do you know we have LPR readers all throughout our county, which are new, but not one of our officers has a body-worn camera, and they spent all that tax dollars. Do you know?
Why don't they?
Well, they do
Why are they
now.
hiding?
That's
Why are they hiding?
That's what we did. We went to our sheriff. We backed him into a wall. And I shouldn't say that. That was one of the reasons he won election, because of body-worn cameras he was going to get. And all of a sudden, we all see these LPR readers. And I'll bet you a good 25% of our county made him and held him accountable. Every time he went to anything out in public that was not a criminal thing he was handling it, everybody asked him. And guess what we're getting, and should have it any day now? Body-worn cameras.
Oh, I think every law enforcement agency should have body-worn cameras for two reasons. One, it protects the civilian.
Absolutely.
Two, it protects the officer.
Absolutely. And it might calm some of these officers down.
I know it would, because now they're being held accountable.
There you go.
And they also need to get rid of the qualified immunity.
Yeah, see, I'm still held on that one for a little.
No. What you do is you get rid of qualified immunity.
You get your own insurance.
You make these officers get insurance,
right,
or a bond,
right,
that can be grabbed at if they don't do their job.
And as a medical professional, I don't get qualified immunity. Do I carry my own professional insurance? 100%. Anyway,
you have to, for malpractice.
I don't want to go off on my tangent, but I just wanted to get the conversation going. I hope somebody else comes up and has a conversation. Nobody has an answer. There's not a quick, simple answer. It's a long-term answer.
It is. And it's not going to happen overnight.
Nope. Bye, Jeff.
Thank you, Wysi, for having your panel and the opportunity. Anybody else can come up and talk.
This is a commercial break. Please stand by.
So in order to come on the screen, Patriot USA, you have to add your devices. You have to give your phone permission to stream. How's everybody doing? Let's try this. This has been fun. This has been interesting to watch everybody sort of come in and just see what was going to happen and what they were going to do. It's been enjoyable watching and reading your comments and just kind of being behind the scenes. I'm here. I'm good. It's good to see you guys. Happy Friday. It's 3:54 here in Hagerstown. I missed you guys too. I've been really busy working and really exhausted. But fortunately, I get to listen while I work. I don't get to interact much, but I listen. I hear what's going on and see what's going on. And it's been fun. You know, it's paying attention to what's going on and listening to all the beefs. And Tucker is good. Tucker's happy. He's fluffy and fat. He has put on his winter weight, and I'm supposed to be at the car wash, giving him a dog wash today, but haven't done that yet. So, yes, Christine, it has been a hot mess, without a doubt. It's too much. It's too much. Everybody's losing their minds in every single way. I don't even honestly know what to talk to you about because it's just been absolutely insane. Angel Eyes asked about Twitter Spaces. Fascinating. I was on one listening to a group of journalists talk about the removal of Tucker Carlson from the airwaves, and boy, was that fascinating. I really wanted to live stream and share that with you, but I figured people either, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably would have seen that I was in there listening, and there was about 9,000 people listening to these journalists, one of which was. Well, it was primarily left-wing journalists, a few conservative journalists, but it was honestly a really, really good conversation. So, just reading your comments. But no, I missed y'all. I've like I said, been busy and been really concentrating on this new job. But I wish I had some common sense logic for you because I just we've been watching and paying attention to all this stuff, and quite honestly, there's a there's a time at which you just need to sit back and watch the shit show and do what's for you. Telescope says, Wysi, grow your hair out. I don't have any hair to grow out. I got beard. I just went over and saw Bill and got a little trim last week. But yeah, no, I don't. Nothing up here is working anymore. I'm starting to look like my grandfather and my father. So, has the unicorn made me an honest man yet? No. Very much enjoying life and having a great time. But pro-life anti-war is out of here. All right, we'll see you. But no, I just wanted to catch up with you guys and see what's going on. I was up here doing some work in the office and watching some stuff and just kind of enjoying a day off. But it was fun that some of you came up and had a little time to just chit chat, and I wanted to see. It's funny because Brett seemed to think that it was his idea. Okay, cool. It's an interesting idea. I've had a few people comment some things that I thought, okay, well, you know what? Let's see what happens if Wysi's not here and a part of the conversation. If it just does its thing, and we'll see. It's about finding time right now, and honestly, I'm so exhausted at the end of the day. Last thing I want to do is anything to do with this or have these discussions. Because, it's weird. It's sorry, I think we're good. It was way more. There was more kindness than I expected. That for sure. Gra, what's going on?
Well, I figured it's been like over an hour, so we're allowing
Hang on.
see, what was I called the other day? I'm
Hang on.
a panel whore.
Whoa. Okay, now I can hear you. Go back and just say what you said before, because
I said it's been over an hour, so I guess it's time to allow the panel whores up on the panel. I was called a panel whore the other day. I was like, oh, that really kind of hurts, But
I know.
I love it.
But you are, Gra. Just admit it.
Dude, I am. Yeah, I know. Well, here I am. See what I mean? Here I am.
Yeah.
Dude, when you came online, I knew exactly what you were doing. I was loving it. Everybody's like, "Where's he at? Why is he not talking? Is his microphone broke? What's wrong?"
No.
It was great. It went great.
You know me. I would have come on with an opening and a whole thing and whatnot. But I just no. It was quiet out there in the panel world. And it seemed like people had a lot to say. So I thought I'd give them a different place to air their grievances and just see what happens. But turns out, everybody's like in a good mood today.
I seen us use like, okay, mods, be cool. And I was like, I haven't even looked at the timeout button or nothing. It was.
Yeah, no, it was.
I knew what was going on. That was great. You should just, even when you're not here, just let it run. I know you can't do that.
Well, you can't leave the house unattended.
No,
That's
I know.
Just a simple fact.
Sure, I'm just saying it was a thought, though. But yeah, it's great to see.
It's a thought, but it's a very bad thought, Gro.
Oh, I know. It was just a thought, but it's great to see everybody back in the chat. Everybody, a lot of them I haven't seen or heard from in a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Ed's Truth just joined us. What's going on, Ed?
Of course he did. You freaking panel whore. All panel whores are calling all panel whores. Come on up. Click the link. Well, I noticed the bot commands aren't working. Are we on the other channel? Or?
No, we're on WYSIWYG TV 742. I didn't even notice they weren't working.
Yeah, bot commands aren't working.
Really?
Always starting trouble. Nana knows.
I maybe you have to initiate the bot. I don't even know how to initiate the bot.
No, I don't know. I don't know how to, obviously at all.
Yeah, it's. I honestly I don't know the first thing about it.
Wait, thanks, Milana Joe. She's trying it. See, yeah, it's not working. So anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why the bot wouldn't be working on the channel, but maybe there's some secret on button that I wasn't aware of.
Right, Ed, what's going on, Ed?
Well, can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, no. Thanks, Graham. uh, yeah, I just thought I'd come on. I was listening to other people talk, and I actually have kind of backed away for a while and got back into designing software again and doing my job like I was supposed to be doing, and doing a little bit of studying on history and stuff like that. And one of the questions that I have, it's sort of a basic overall question, and that is, I wonder how many people realize that they're on a planet that spins, that goes around a star. Um, because it seems that the big picture and the small picture doesn't seem to matter. What seems to matter is, who said what and when they said it, and here are all the problems we got, and
It,
no one seems to
that
have any
that
idea
red
what they're going to
star,
do
that red
about it.
star is actually a red dwarf. That star is actually a red dwarf that's expanding, and eventually it's going to engulf us. So there's always that to look forward to.
Well, yeah, but that's a few billion years from now.
Yeah,
I
it'll be
don't.
a minute. That's going to take a minute or two.
Yeah, we a lot of reincarnation going on between
Yeah.
now and then. So, if that's the
Well,
case,
it's today on social media on Twitter there was a video going around of somebody using an infinity lens on a camera that zoomed in 30 miles and they could see a sailboat on the horizon. They go, there, that's proof that the world's flat, or the
they're
earth is
seeing a
flat. And I'm just like,
reflection. Is what
yeah,
they're getting.
that's
Because when you look at the water and then you have the sky,
I'm
you actually get a reflection.
I'm pretty sure you can see a boat 30 miles away. Now try and see it 130 miles away. You may have a problem.
Well, no, actually, I went up to Whitefish Bay. I'm sure that Wizzy knows where that's at. And I saw a boat in the horizon that was over the horizon, but it was reflecting off the mist in the air. And it appeared as though it was there, but it was just a reflection.
yeah.
Well,
So,
I
they
had an
say
uncle
that
who back in the 80s would fly on the Concorde, and he'd
oh,
always
wow.
tell me stories when I was a kid about how once they got up at altitude, you could see the curvature of the earth and whatnot. And I trust him more than these fools on the internet. So
Yeah, it takes about 70,000 feet before you can actually see the curvature. So, if you're
Ed,
flying a
they
high
say that
performance jet,
They say that that phenomenon was part of the sinking of the Titanic because it had gone into waters that had just changed temperatures real quick, which gave it the mirage of a vessel that didn't look like the Titanic. The people actually seen it, but they identified it as a different type of ship other than the Titanic, and they ignored it. So they actually seen the Titanic as it was going down, but misidentified it as something else. What was that, 1912 or 17 or something? But anyway,
it was a little while ago.
it's been a
Yeah.
minute. Yeah, but it's just an interesting phenomenon they recently had discovered.
Yeah. What I find interesting, though, is that on this planet, we have these things called people, and they run around. They have their all. Everybody has their own ideas, and somebody finds out that they can control other people, and then they knock off a town, and then they capture the people, and then they run around, and then they got a little bit bigger army, and so on and so forth. This has been going on forever, and the same thing is going on right now. You notice the people that are running things; they have a lot of resources, and that's really what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with somebody squabbling with their neighbor. It has everything to do with how many people have how much power, and how are they going to get over on the
hey,
next
crazy,
person so that
can you
they
hear
can
me?
gain power. So
Okay,
it's
now
really
now
kind
you're
of
starting to
simple.
sound like Joe Biden. You need to just kind of pull it back a little bit. I'm just saying. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Well, you got to address me because I didn't
Can
know
you
who you're
try
talking to.
putting a comment up? See if it works.
So yeah, Joe Biden. Who's he? I don't think I know a Joe Biden.
So
Well,
anyway,
if you
I just
go,
wanted
if
to
you
pop in
click on the
for a minute
comments
to
section, and
since it
then
was
you
panel
push on a
4.
comment. It'll ask you if you want to add it to the screen. Sorry,
Giving instructions there, Wysi.
we were trying to work something out in the background here, because you can give multiple people the ability to control the live stream through Restream.
Right.
So we were messing around with that and trying to learn how to do that. But
Cool.
Ed, it's funny because you talk about the things we take for granted, right? This idea that we're on this giant ball hurling through space, and it is something everyone, I'm sure, doesn't think about on most days. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a miracle for people to have the realization that we are just a speck in the world, in the solar system, right?
Well, it gets even a little more interesting than that when I bring up the fact that we're not revolving around the sun; we're revolving around a star. Star does star stuff, and like Gra was alluding to, is going to expand in a few billion years. A more immediate thing is that the star that we go around, it has these things called mass coronal ejections, and if one of them hits this planet and lasts long enough, it'll wipe out every single bit of electronics we have on this planet completely, because we haven't hardened our infrastructure to withstand solar outbursts like that. I mean, you would
we ever know that
literally
was
have
coming?
plasma strikes.
That actually happens on a regular basis. We have solar flares on a regular basis.
Yes, Gra, that is true, but we don't have the kind that we had in the Carrington event, which was just 1859. That wasn't that long ago, and it burned up the telegraph shacks and burned all the wires up. And can you imagine what that would do to all of the electronics just in your car alone, let alone your cell phone and radios and satellites? I mean, it would take down civilization. We'd be back to Stone Ages. Just the Carrington event.
On a more positive note, more recent note, today they say Congress is voting on whether or not artificial intelligence should have access to the nuclear codes. I'm like,
that seems like
really?
A pretty clear-cut no to me. But
I know, exactly. I'm like, we have to vote on that. Does that?
I find it interesting that you said on a more positive note, and your first words out of your mouth was Congress.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, that's right. That's right in line. That's right in line with the positive note. Is if we ever are hit with, if there ever is a nuclear war, we'll never hear it coming. So there's always that. That's a positive note.
Well, nuclear war would know that was probably coming, but
you may know it's coming, but you would never hear it. Is what I'm saying.
Well, it depends on if you got hit or if you needed to take
you would never hear it. You would never hear it coming. That's my point. You would never hear it coming.
Well, that's not exactly true, but I mean, there isn't a whole lot of time. I used to work in a Strategic Air Command. That's what we did.
The speed of sound doesn't matter. Speed of sound doesn't that.
No, it isn't that. It's just that we would be able to detect these things coming before they came. I'm not saying the average Joe would know.
Thank you. That's my point. That's my point. Okay. You would never hear it coming. We would never know it. They might know it. We would never know it.
Right. Right.
Crazy. You should be able to do just about anything.
So somebody's in chat, but he doesn't have a name. I don't know who that is.
I was just going to ask.
It's Bruce. I'm Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
What's up? What's going on?
We'll just chat.
Bring your audio just a little bit. It's a little quiet.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Haven't really been on, but I did want to say, I heard a little bit earlier. I was cleaning up some dishes. Jeff, and I'm not sure what the lady's name was. To tell people keep saying like they work
Is
for us.
that your live stream or
What's that?
him coming through the?
So,
It's his.
let me see here. Here, I'll see if I can fix it. What the hell?
Bruce. Yeah, thank you. You're not using a headset, Bruce?
Is that any better?
A little.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let me see.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah.
So anyway, Chris, good to see you, man. I can already tell everybody wants to talk about the, I dox, I don't dox, blah, blah, blah. I really, all that stuff I don't care about. You know that. To me, it's a crack in my turd.
No.
I'm more worried about what's going on with our country.
I figure everybody else has talked about it so much that.
I know. I don't care who's mad at who doesn't like who.
Keep complaining about what's going on, then stop putting the people in. I mean, it's pretty simple. They're always complaining about this or that, or they say this or that. But why are the people keep putting the same stupid idiots in Congress or in the Senate? It's.
Oh yeah,
that's just what came to mind to me.
They deserve what they get. You're absolutely right. Here's a thought. I have an idea. Okay, if you live in a blue state, blue city, however you want to look at it, and you think everyone should drive electric cars, make everyone in your blue city drive electric cars. Make all the buses electric. Make the trains electric. Make your trucks electric. Make anything and everything that you do electric. See how that works for you. Make it all solar. Okay, make it all wind. You guys go ahead and do it. Let us know how it goes. How does that not make sense? If that's what you want to do, if you want to mutilate your children,
actually doing that, Graw.
Yeah, if you want to mutilate your children, and you vote to do that, go ahead and do that. Let us know how that goes for you. Well, the top 12 cities that have the most homeless population in our country are blue cities. How's that working for you? And now they're trying to pass a law to where if you accidentally trip over somebody's foot that's sticking out of the tent on a fucking sidewalk, that they can file assault charges against you for invading their privacy. Right?
Really?
How's that working for you?
I don't know.
So anyway, there's my little rant for the day.
Sounds like you don't like a couple things. Wow, I have an echo.
We got it. Yeah, I noticed it. Echo.
Do we all have an echo? Because that's probably my fault.
Yes, it's your fault.
Okay, now how is that?
You got it. Fixed it.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I realize why that is. But does my microphone sound better now? Somebody was saying it was getting some clicking and whatnot.
No, it sounds great.
Okay. Good. All right.
Yeah, the only point I was trying to get at is that we live on a globe of people that have resources, and those people that have the resources are the ones who run things, and they always have, they always will. And when I listen to these little battles that are going on at the upper echelons, it reminds me of kings and queens and dukes and earls and generals going at it, thousands of years ago. It's not any different. The thing that I didn't like about some of the YouTube, if we want to bring that stuff up, is that people were complaining about each other on in the chats and on the panels, and everybody's trying to knock everybody down. It's like this is like kindergarten, and it just was kind of annoying to me. So I left for a while.
That's a part of mass formation psychosis. When they run out of enemies, they start eating themselves, and that's both sides. That's not just the left; it's also the right. It's the people in the middle that recognize what's happening.
Crowder is a great example of that right now.
Yeah, They just
Yeah.
they wind up eating their own, and eventually the people out here in the middle make the decision. You know, it's whether you want to call them independents or middle America or whatever. That's
I like the term
you know,
normies.
because what gets me is these elitist MFers are outnumbered 100-1, yet they're controlling 99% of the
More
country.
than 100. It's
Yeah, more like
thousands to one.
probably 1,000,000 to 1.
Yeah.
would
That's
be
why
my
they're called the
guess.
1%. What's 1% of 360 million?
There you go. Yeah. 36
Right.
million, but no, that's 10%. But anyway,
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
a lot.
Yeah, and the trick is trying to figure out, so how do we get back to the way the country was actually set up, where the individual, gets a person put into a position of power locally, and then they may have aspirations to go a little bit higher, so that they get then put into a higher position of power that represents the individual. And we've gone away from that. Because the people in power have so much power, they don't have to abide by any of the rules. Heck, they aren't even,
Thank you, Scott B.
put in the
3.6.
power.
Yeah, in my opinion, we will never get back to where we was. You'll never see gas prices like they were. You'll never see food prices like they were. The price of water for years and years and years, I've been astounded that water was as cheap as it was, especially here in Oklahoma. Forget about it now. It's 5 times what it was 2 years ago.
I disagree with that. Actually, if you look at history, the people that are in power don't stay in power. They lose power.
Fun fact.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, the interesting thing I heard the other day in part of these French protests is that in Paris they didn't pay for water. Water was free to everyone, but now they're charging. The government has changed that, and they're charging people for water.
There you go.
Well, you kind of need water. 3 days without it, you're dead.
Yeah, but imagine living in the United States not paying a water bill, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't have any water.
Right. Like, I'm guessing in Paris, it's so old. How do you, put water meters in everywhere? How do you? So they just go, okay, well, it's going to be free for everyone because it's probably, I don't know. I was surprised to hear that. That was one of the many changes going on in France.
That's kind of an interesting thought. I remember when I was a youngster, a lad, well, not that young, in my 20s, but my grandmother had a well, and they literally pumped all the groundwater out of the underground aquifer and forced everybody to get city water. And she was really angry at that. And my thought was, well, you're getting cleaner water. It's being more controlled. But that's the way I thought back then. And as now that I'm older and I can look at the bigger picture, I can see how that is just one thing that allows, them to gain profit for themselves. It's all about money. It's always has been. It's not for everybody. Some people do the right thing anyways. But it takes understanding how everything actually works. And I think a lot of people don't really know. And that's why a lot of people run around saying, well, we're never going to get this and we're never going to get that. But that's not true. If we do the right things, we can get all of this stuff straightened down. Now, will it last longer than, a minute? Probably not. It's going to go back and forth, but I don't think
it took us a long time to lose,
you nailed it right there. You nailed it. It's going to take as long to get it back
overnight.
It's going to take as long to get it back as it did to lose it. When you transfer a tree, you transfer a 2-year-old tree from one part of your yard to the other part of your yard. It takes 2 years for that tree to start growing again, to regenerate. Same thing happens with losing our country. What they've taken away from us is going to take at least the same amount of time to get it back to where it was. Where it was being whatever you think it was, the norm or whatever. But I don't think we're ever going to, it's never going to go back to where it was.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Never going to
Those
happen.
days are long gone for sure.
Yeah.
Well, did any of you guys see the movie? Let's just use a movie references, kind of a guideline. The movie Braveheart.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, you remember what happened in that movie where we had the rich and powerful and they were taken down. Now, obviously, things are a little bit different now because we have global reach with communication and a lot more powerful weapons. But it's still, when it comes right down to it, there's so many people that controlling all those people is going to be very difficult. It doesn't mean that they can't. It just means if we resist, it's going to be much harder for them. And I can tell you right now that these people that are in power, they are afraid of us a lot more than we are afraid of them. We're afraid of losing our lifestyle. They're afraid of losing their life. Our host disappears and everybody goes quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
I
it's
know.
just that moment of
When I was a
awkward
kid, I
silence.
never would have thought, uh, electric cars, man. I mean, I get it, like battery up, or, like when you're a kid and have like a little race car or something. But yeah, I would have never thought that. Only raised on like going fishing, camping, learn how to make fire and stuff. And
Well, the thing that I focus on is having tangible things. Once our money supply is no longer part of what you know works for us, we're going to have tangible things that we can use, like food, water, power supplies, solar panels to charge up our stuff. That is, if all of our electronics don't get wiped out, but that's a different issue. Um, but just for the global aspect, if they try to take things away from us with like the social credit score and all of that kind of stuff, which is they're trying to do, but we're fighting back. They're not winning everything; they're losing a lot. It's just that we don't hear about what they're losing because they control the mainstream media, which is all on cable. Okay, and you can see today what's happening with cable is it's going down, so they're taking a loss there. These cable companies are all going to go out of business because now we have internet, and you see a lot of programs
newspaper
popping
business
up
is
on
gone.
internet. I'm
And
sorry.
I have got to disagree just a little bit with you. And here's the reason why. We've allowed them to indoctrinate our children in our schools for the past 20 and 25 years, right under our noses without our knowledge of them doing this. We asked our kid, what did you learn in school today? Oh, we're studying race relationships. Little did we know is critical race theory. So these children that have been indoctrinated and been taught through no fault of their own a false narrative are going to be the leaders of our country in the next 15, 20, 25, 30 years. So they've got a 20 or 25 or 30-year head start on us. So these kids, even the kids now that are in elementary school, they're pushing even more to teach them a false narrative, how this is the worst country on the planet and everything needs to be taken down and starting over from scratch. That's what we're up against. This didn't just happen overnight. This has been going on for, some people say, 100 years. I tend to agree with them. I believe that they've been active in trying to conquer our country without firing a shot for close to 100 years now. Robert Kennedy Jr. in his book talks a lot about that. I don't even want to get into all that, but everything that they've said in the 45 ways that they're going to conquer the United States from the CCP, read on the Congress floor in 1963, everything that they've said they're going to do they have done, and they're still doing it, and we're still allowing that to happen. Of course, we're pushing back now, but we're backed up. We're on the cliff. Our heels are hanging over. One more push and it's done. And that's my opinion. I could be completely off base. Prove me wrong. And you know, that's just my opinion. But I think it really is. I didn't think that I would ever live to see our country where it is right now. And but
Well,
then you
I
got
can't.
then you got people like
Yeah,
Telescope going that we're all MAGA freaks or whatever. No,
MAGA
we're
freaks,
Americans.
telescope.
We're all Americans. I don't. It doesn't
Did you
matter
yeah.
who
really
you
say
voted
that?
for.
Well, we're all
I
humans,
like
and
telescope.
you know, here's the thing. You What you just said is absolutely correct. Uh, when I talk about the big picture, and that's why I started out my whole spiel with that, is when you're fighting a war, you have to fight it two ways. First, you have to have a strategy. The strategy, of course, is to get to the ultimate goal, and then you have to change that strategy as the field changes. The field changes with the different tactical maneuvers that we make, the battles, the individual battles. And what you're referring to there is one of the individual battles that we are fighting. Now, this war is being fought on a lot of different fronts. A lot of people, back when I first came into this little YouTube scene, thought that their battle was like the most important one and the only one there was, and it was going to solve everything. It's not how wars are fought. Wars are fought by individual battles on all different fronts. And what you're talking about is one of the fronts. Now, we have lots of fronts, and we have to change uh, that educational process, which is being done, by the way, now. But it's a battle, and when you have battles, you have casualties, and in the overall
You talk about
war, what we're
fronts, though.
talking
You're
about.
right. The Chinese Communist Party gave us their playbook. They've got 45
You're,
fronts.
you're talking about unrestricted warfare, correct?
Yes, they've got 45 fronts that they give us their playbook. They give us the list of what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and everything. I don't understand why they don't keep showing. The Chinese Communist Party was on YouTube. Obviously, it's been taken down, but the guys stand up there talking and say, "Look, we've got to wait. We had to wait for 4 years because we lost control of the United States because there was this guy named Trump that was in charge, and there was nothing that we could do. But now Joe Biden has won, and we are back in power. We control the people of the highest levels in the United States, and we are back in power." Now, why don't they play that every fucking day on TV?
It is being played every day. It's just
No,
that it's not.
where,
Hold on a second.
Okay, where?
It's being played
Woohoo.
on the internet. It's not being played on cable news. Cable news is your mainstream media, and now that Tucker Carlson is gone, Fox is going to go down. They're just trying to make a big profit before they dump it all.
Well, that's the best
Or
thing.
God,
That's the best
that's
thing
what's
that could have ever
on.
happened to Tucker
What are you gonna
Carlson.
do now?
And I'm sorry, but Bruce, your
Yeah,
mic
you gotta
is so
fix that
low.
mic, Bruce.
Yeah, because we can't hear you. Sorry.
It's just not even coming through anymore.
A few days off in a row.
But anyway, that's my little rant for the day. I didn't mean to get off on that like I always do, son of a bitch.
no, actually, that was good. I mean, this is a good conversation. It isn't, we're not bashing each other or nothing like that. We're having a
No.
conversation about
Oh no,
something
I
that's
know.
important.
And even if we do bash each other, we're men. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't hurt my fucking feelings. You
Yeah,
can
well,
bash me all you want.
if we don't do it like little children,
I
it's
know.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, or get in chat and go put your teeth in so we can understand you. I'm like, I know I can say it because Chris is probably going to take this down, but whoever said that can suck my dick and lick my balls. That's just how it is. Sorry, Chris. He's fucking
No need
people.
to apologize.
Wonder why.
Sounds like we got somebody in the background there. Yeah, it's, I don't know how much you know about
Oh, dollar
about
for a swear jar. Sorry.
about the planet itself, before the Younger Dryas. Do you know anything about that? Do you know anything about the Younger Dryas, Grau? Apparently not. That's the last ice age that ended 11,600 years ago, between 12.6 and 11.6. And when that ice sheet melted, that's when we had the great floods that are reported all over the planet.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was away. Yes, I do know about that. It's a great
No,
play,
okay.
and
Yeah.
that amazes me, Ed. That they're like it's some great discovery that they take a look at satellite shots and they go, oh wait a minute, these rivers were a lot bigger than we first thought they were. I'm like, no shit. You can walk out in my fucking backyard and see the topography that how it was then compared to what they thought it was. Unbelievable. I'm like, you guys just now figured this out? What the hell? Who's in charge of this place?
Well, it did wipe out the majority of the population at that time
Yes.
because the seawaters.
I posted
You know,
put a documentary on my little channel. Are we the first?
oh heavens no!
Yeah, exactly. And I posted that on my little YouTube channel. Are we the first? I forget the exact wording of it. But
We're not the
yeah,
first civilization. In fact, we've probably been wiped out lots of times.
yeah,
And
they
that's what I
have.
was getting.
They
That's what I was
discovered.
getting at.
They discovered a underground. What I forget what they called it, a berm or something, or what that was over 100 miles long. I'm sure you probably know about that, Ed.
It depends on which one. They're all over the
It
planet.
was
That's how
it
people
was it was
survive.
an underground living facility over 100 miles long. Where else on the
Oh
world,
yeah.
anywhere right now,
Well, if
do
you've
you have?
ever seen Urfa, where they actually have cities built into the side of a hill underneath the ground, and
That's what I'm talking. Yeah,
yeah,
the
that's
same
right.
thing I'm talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because they actually have astrophysical evidence that we had a mass coronal ejection that was about 1,000 times more powerful than the Carrington event that
Well,
actually melted the ice. And they have Greenland ice cores that go back and show that it happened at that time. So all of these flood stories that are written in the Bible and all other scribes of the day, we're talking about a great flood. It's because that happened. That literally happened overnight. I mean, that wasn't something that happened over decades or
yes.
geological time. That happened overnight. And what would cause that would be mass coronal ejections that would actually cause plasma strikes all over the planet. And we
Yeah,
have
or it could have been
vitrified rock and everything.
not a
So
supernova, but what am I thinking of? The one that if
you're
it
talking about
was
the comet?
no the star if it actually winds up pointing directly at us. I can't remember. No,
Oh yeah, that's the mass coronal rejection. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, not from our sun though. It was from a distant star in the Milky Way
Oh
galaxy.
no! If that happened, we wouldn't be here talking right
Yeah,
now.
we'd be just vaporized. So
Well, yeah, that would ionize us. You're talking about like,
yeah, so
uh,
we got that going for us too. I mean,
well, we live in a universe, man. It's violent out there.
it is. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know. There's some of the stuff that they're seeing with the new telescope is just the new James Webb is just amazing. Some amazing shit.
Yeah, that the new discovery with the James Webb, where they discovered galaxies that weren't supposed to exist 13.8 billion years ago, that they're finding. That's interesting. I find that very interesting because at supposedly the Big Bang, they're starting to question the Big Bang now because
Which
of that.
which I find funny because you can't have a bang if there's not an atmosphere. If there's not there if there's in a vacuum, you can't have a bang. So it basically would have been the big, you know.
Well, when you get right down into quantum mechanics, there's a way to do that, but a lot of that stuff has to be questioned now. It's like all science, Galileo got hung, right? Uh, because he was speaking heretically in his day, and if we were controlled by some type of religious sect, we would probably be hanged just for talking on about this stuff right now. So it's I think what's important is that we do what I did the last couple of months, and that is just get back to my real life, enjoy it, be productive. I mean, we don't have a country if we're not working. We have to have a functioning economy it's being made very difficult, and we know why. So,
But Ed, you have
talking about the
unfashionable
problems. Go
thoughts, and
ahead,
they
sorry.
want those canceled.
That is true. That's one of the battles.
I'm just glad, like Ed, that's a perfect example. I'm just glad that people are starting to focus on the big issues at hand and forget about what color buckets people are taking a crap in. It, you know what I mean? You gotta, at some point, you gotta just quit sweating the small shit. You know, to me, I keep using analogies. To me, it's a crack in my turd. I don't care. I really don't care.
Well, the way I look at it, if it's not life threatening, fuck it.
Yeah.
What somebody thinks about me is not life threatening unless they're right in front of me.
I lose sleep all the time. I'm sure you can tell by looking at me. But anyway, okay. So I'm jumping out this time. Let anybody else get up here and rant for a while. I've done my little rant.
Gra, you don't have to leave to let other people up here. There's 12 slots. So.
Oh hell, okay. I can always sit back and be quiet, or at least I can try to.
Whatever, you know. At some point, I got to go wash the dog.
I'm sure he would appreciate that.
Well,
what name is Al Munson chatting under today?
I don't see Al. Sorry.
Wasn't he on earlier?
But I mean, even though you unblocked everybody, there's some that I have blocked that I don't see anyway. You know, so
yeah, it's sad. I can't see Al Munson's comments.
Linda Lou can run the channel while you're gone. She can handle things.
Well, Chris and M was on. I think Al Munson was on then.
I probably do. It's funny. You think when you unhide people, that would sort of take care of the problem. But I guess you got to do it a couple times.
I think I can pretty much speak for everybody that we're glad to see you back, man, on your day off, at least anyway.
Yeah, I managed to get a couple days off. But
yeah, I was pleased to see that you came back on. I was just kind of going to sit back and see what you had to say, and then I noticed you had an open forum, so I listened for a little while.
I was watching Quincy. Did you see he's at some satanic forum or something somewhere?
Oh, really?
Yeah, some kind of crazy stuff going on. But
I don't have the chat up, so I have no idea what anybody's saying, except for the stuff you pop up on the screen.
We're all talking shit about you because we know you don't have the chat up.
You should be able to pull up the chat.
Oh, I can. I've got two monitors. I can pull it to the other side. I'm just not. Usually when I come on panel, I don't pay attention to it. So it's kind of distracting during conversation. I'm not as quick at reading chats as you guys probably are. So it takes me a moment to figure out what somebody's saying.
So yeah, so now, and I believe it's California, Chris, they've passed the law that you can't infringe on anyone living in a tent on your sidewalk.
Where did they pass that?
That's their private domain. I want to say Sacramento, but I'm not positive, so don't quote me. But maybe someone in chat knows. And I just seen that this morning. So it basically gives them free land.
Sure.
Yeah. And it may have been Portland.
That seems like a really brilliant idea, doesn't it, Gra?
Absolutely.
How could that go wrong?
Yeah, well, it makes me want to grab my tent and just come out in front of your house and just pitch a tent and go,
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Bring me food.
Yeah.
Well, they do have nice weather out there.
In California, not Portland. Right.
Oh, I don't think I'd visit Portland for any reason. However, I do understand they have a lot of underground whatever out there underneath the city. That would be interesting to see.
Oh, baby wants to know if this is going to be a regular show. I don't see why not. You know,
As
everybody
regular
else
as I
seems.
get, baby.
Yeah. Is that song by Commander Coney and the Lost Planet Airman? Everybody's doing it.
Well, maybe there's a lot of fiber in this
Mhm.
show. That's why it becomes regular.
That should be. That could make that this intro song, Chris. Everybody's doing it, doing it, doing it by Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airman. Got some killer little saxophone at the beginning.
What is an Overton window?
It's funny because I've heard the term too, and I was busy doing other things. I wanted to look that up, but
I can ask Google.
Overton window is an approach identifying the ideas that define the spectrum of acceptability of government policies. It says politicians can act only within the acceptable range. Shifting the Overton window involves proponents of policies outside the window persuading the public to expand the window. Here's a little let's see. Some graphics come up.
Well, I like learning new stuff.
Yeah, right.
Huh.
Okay.
So sensible is not an Overton window?
Yeah, sensible is to either side of the Overton window. Acceptable is beyond that, radical and unthinkable. Policy in the middle with popular on each side.
No, which creates the policy. Got it.
Mm-hmm. See, it's funny because to me, this, I think about what's going on in the world, and we have all these new ideas that are out here in the unthinkable area, but that's not shifting to the desired idea in the sensible position. The sensible things aren't being done. The unthinkable things are being done.
It's almost as if that's kind of like what used to be middle is now shifting in one direction. So, you had back in the old day, you had the far left, the far right, but then the far left becomes further left, and the far right, may go further left. And then the Overton window is now shifted, and the middle is now more acceptable of what the left used to be, because I used to be a diehard Republican, and now I'm looking at some of the old liberal ideas of the Democratic Party from the 60s and find myself in that arena. So maybe that's what they mean by the Overton window is that that window moves, and then what used to be accepted is no longer accepted, or what used to be not accepted is now accepted. And I've seen that happen over my life.
What it brung to mind for me is I seen a documentary on our liberal colleges, our higher learning, right? And I won't even get into how many liberal professors we have compared to the right-leaning professors. It's like 50-1 now, whereas it used to be 50-50. But now the only way you become recognized, everyone's seen the movie, what's the guy? Brilliant Mind. What was it? A Beautiful Mind.
Beautiful
Okay,
Mind.
everybody's seen that movie.
I saw it.
The only way they get recognized now is if they come up with some outrageous idea and it gains traction, and that's the only way they can get a name for themselves. We want you to do everything from wearing a mask. Oh, that's a brilliant idea. You're a professor now. Okay, so now we want to mutilate your children. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's think about that. Men can become women. Awesome idea. Okay, men can have babies. Oh, beautiful. That's beautiful. You're a professor now. So now, in order to go to those colleges, and you see them say it on the Congress floor everywhere, when they ask them what a woman is, they can't describe it. So in other words, if you want to go to that college now, you have to admit and say that you believe that men can have babies. And if you can't admit that, you're not going to get admitted to that college. That's where we're at with our higher learning facility. Sorry. I know, put my teeth in.
No, it's just kind of the pendulum swing, I think, what you're talking about.
It is,
Hopefully
yeah.
it swings back the other way, but not too far.
I hope so.
Maybe it'll. Maybe
But I heard somebody yesterday call that what were they saying? We're evolving as a society, and you just have to learn to accept the change.
No, you don't. No, I mean I'll say it on the show. I'll call it out on the show. There's no such thing as transgender. There is no such animal. Okay, and on a even more clerical note, for more clarity, it's not normal to put a male appendage into a male orifice. That's not normal. Mic
But
drop.
it can be done.
Oh, it can be done. Yeah. Well,
yeah, but it broke the back of
There's a lot
mountain
of things you can fit in orifices.
It's
Happens all
being done to us
time.
right
Apparently,
now.
more people die of things being inserted into their anus than die of gun-related deaths.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
I wish I could pull it up real
But
quick. I don't
it's
remember
being
where that
done
was.
to us right now. It's called our United States government. Can't you feel it? Can't you feel it?
Well, you know what the United States government is today. It's not representatives and politicians. It's the bureaucracy. That's what has grown over time, and that has changed a lot of things. The bureaucracy goes all the way down to your teachers and your school boards. I mean, it is the culture has changed. I worked in the government almost my whole life in different positions, and one of the last position, the one I retired from, was working for the educational district as a software engineer for software for student information. And so I got my taste of how that stuff infiltrates down. And they had these little group meetings we had to go to called diversity meetings. And I caused such a fuss. And at that time, they weren't ready to handle me at that time. So that kind of broke up, but I'm sure it's back in full force now that I'm gone.
But yeah, back to, someone said, yeah, it's perversion. It is. And if we don't accept it, we're homophobes. No, we're not homophobes. We're average American common sense humans. We're not a freaking homophobe.
Well, coming from a scientific background, a lot of this stuff is just stupid. I like to look at things logically, and some of the stuff just doesn't make any sense. And the changing of the language. Gay used to mean happy, queer used to mean weird. You go to the dictionary
now. If you look up protest in the dictionary now, they've included the word riot now. So riots are now a part of protest. Didn't used to be. They changed it. They get to add words, change words we can't say. It's ridiculous. A birthing person was like, so is today National Birthing Persons Day? No, it's coming up. No, it's Mother's Day. It's not Birthing Persons Day. Am I wrong? Am I wrong there?
No, I don't see you as wrong. There may be
Yeah, well,
others.
I'm just saying, are they going to change Mother's Day to Birthing Persons Day?
Well, they're trying to. Whether or not they get away with it, that's
Sure.
another story. Like I said before, this war this is World War III. This is what it looks like. It's not bombs and bullets. It's worldwide communication, and whoever comes out on top is going to be the winner for as long as that lasts, because the winners change hands, and it's always been that way.
Well, and speaking of which, didn't we just send 230 tanks over to Ukraine? And didn't Biden say something earlier about, well, as long as we don't, put boots on the ground or send tanks or jets or everything, we're not involved in the war. It seems to me that we are part of the war now.
Well, the bigger picture on that is they're trying to deplete our military capabilities. If we get rid of all of our equipment, what are we going to fight with? They've already gotten rid of a lot of our energy reserves, which is designed. Our energy reserves are supposed to be for emergencies, not to.
Gee, I wonder who would that be really helpful to if we was to get rid of our military, or just to have nothing but pregnant pilots. Who would that help?
That would be the criminal organization known as the CCP.
Thank you. Which is actually the CCP is also known as the Joe Biden family. It's one and the same.
Well, it's a mafia. It's a cartel. It's a criminal organization.
So Chris,
basically, it's just a bunch of people who are trying to control other people. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it's always going to be, and we always have to fight it. Every person has to fight it their whole life, but still try to enjoy life in the meantime.
So, Chris, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Hunter Biden laptop, and what's the Biden family and the investigation? Jim Jordan, James Comer, Ron Johnson. What's going on with them, and how they're talking about, we're not just going to talk about it this time, we're going to do something about it, because people are tired of just hearing them just talk about it, and now they're saying they're going to do something about it. Yeah, well, Comer says there's no way in hell that they can investigate Hunter Biden and not investigate the rest of the Biden. Comey, yeah, James Comey. I say Comer.
Yeah,
I think it's Comer. James Comer, but there's no way you can just.
Then who's James Comer?
He's right beside Jim Jordan. He's the head of the congressional hearing committee that's investigating the Joe Biden crime syndicate family.
Gotcha.
And he's saying there's no way in hell they can only investigate Hunter Biden when everyone else is tied into it. Initially, there were 3 family members, then 6. 9. Now there's 12 Biden families incorporated. Receiving money for what? That's like, you can show us what you're getting paid for, and everything's fine. But
none of this stuff is going to change until we fix our judicial system. Because right now, the people who are running our Justice Department, well, they have an ideological viewpoint that is opposed to the general population in the United States.
Yeah, well, but see, that's what Comer and Jordan is saying, is they can get around the Justice Department whether or not they investigate them or not. And I have to ask butterflies. Butterflies are free. Stupid laptop do you not think the laptop is real? Do you think it's a Russian disinformation? Butterflies, what do you think? Come on up. Come on up.
You see, the Congress can get rid of departments in the administrative side.
Well, they can defund them. You quit paying them and they're gone.
Join us.
Yeah, they can got the power of the purse. If they don't get paid, there's no, they're not there. Just stop paying them. And that's what they have the power to do. And they also have the power that if they deny being subpoenaed twice, they can send the sergeant of arms to their fucking house and drag their ass in. So they've got that power.
They do have that power. Whether or not they use it, that's another story.
Right.
And
like I
how
said,
do we
this
get a
war.
clean slate?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just asking Ang how we get a clean slate. How do you build the highest percentage of confidence in the United States, in the people of this country? How do you build their confidence?
I'll be right back.
Okay, butterflies. God, yeah. If he did something wrong, he should be held accountable. Are you talking about Hunter? Are you talking about Joe?
Isn't that what everybody says? Nobody's above the law, right, Groff?
Nobody's above the law, unless you're fucking Democrat.
Unless you're above law.
Yeah, unless you are the law, and then you make the law,
right,
and abuse the law. Okay, so Butterfly says she thinks it's real. Okay, well, good. See, so that's a step in the right direction for.
But what's the ridiculous talking points, though? Butterflies. That's what I'm still trying to understand. Like, have you really not seen the laptop? I'd be curious to know, Gra. I know you've seen bits and pieces of the laptop. How many people in this country do you think have a laptop loaded with crap like that?
I don't know anyone, not even my old laptops. And my old laptops had all kinds of shit on it. It really did, back to, 20 years ago or whatever. But I don't know anyone that has that amount of, well, you got porn mixed in with papers that he's taking screenshots of.
But it wasn't just pornography. It was literally him in the pictures and videos with other,
the video of him sitting there with his phone on a selfie stick, raising his legs up.
I know. We don't need to be graphic for everybody.
Get descriptive.
But you're the vice president's kid. Your father's a politician. And you think about how people hack computers and the things that people do. Like, you're not a child. You're an adult.
But see,
and you would think that
when you run with those high power oligarchs that have all the money and all the power, that you're above that. You think that you're able to do anything and everything that you want to do and not be held accountable. That's the cocaine train of thought,
or you just think you're so special that you literally can do whatever you want. It just doesn't matter. It's okay.
Yes, they still think even
my
Joe
dad's
Biden
the vice
thinks
president.
that.
Wait, now my dad's the president. It obviously before he was president, the laptop was left.
And so now you've got Hunter flying around with him, and when Joe's being asked questions, Hunter has to go up and whisper in his ear what they're at. They want to know
he needs a handler. It's usually his wife, but
he's got all kinds of handlers. You know that. Ones that,
sometimes it's the person in the bunny outfit or whatever holiday outfit it is.
That was. I swear to God, I can't wait until the presidential debates where he's going to have to get up there and he's going to be completely on his own. Is he going to have a little plug in his ear where he can, he'd be like, wait a minute, or he'll keep poking his ear. I can't wait.
I gotta say, you probably have some experience with people who think that they're untouchable. Right? Like you've taken down, I know some of these people that probably feel that they're untouchable. It must be hard for you to watch and see what happens with Hunter. that he's never held responsible for his actions.
Oh, I like that, Troy. I like that. Alice Cooper reference. Well, now, okay, see, they're no. It's my understanding that they have to have at least 3 debates. Somebody fact check.
Well, that's maybe for the election, but that's not necessary for the DNC, and they've already said that they're not going to have any debates.
Yes, okay, but
in the primary.
No, that's what I'm saying. If Biden's running for president, he's going to have to get up there with the rest of them and kick
But
it.
even if they did, they just wait until it's too late. When you see the candidate, and it's too late to But for a primary, it's still not too late for presidency, and that could ruin him for that. So that's why they.
Oh, that's a good point.
We remember Pennsylvania, that debate that happened after all of the mail-in ballots were already sent, and
afterwards.
It doesn't matter right now. And good night. He starts out with, and then it's over, and people are like,
you're talking about brain dead. What's his name? Potato Hip.
Yes. Yeah. Who's back running committees and just stumbling all over himself. Did you see the video with his assistant behind him, his aide behind him, just going, "Oh shit"?
Yes. Yeah. And then you got Corinne John.
Al seems to think that Trump won't debate. Al Munson, that just goes to show you what you know. Trump will debate fucking anybody. I like, you literally can't acknowledge the truth, can you? Like, you must know that Trump loves the fucking debate stage. Yeah, he'd debate himself. Literally debate himself.
He's probably debating himself right now as we speak.
Masterfully. I'm sorry, I had to bite on that one. Yeah. Good news is we can see Al's conversation now.
Well, I can see it when
how
you
to unblock
when you
on
highlight
Google.
it. When you highlight it,
I went through a whole list of names that I guess people must have been back in the day commenting as themselves, and we'll see their names got locked in as their names rather than their handles. It's interesting, the list of names.
Trump and Biden are both running. Biden's already said he was going to. Just think of what happens when Biden is taken out of office and we get Kamala Harris. That should be fun.
She's the one.
Fetterman, Troy. Yes, Fetterman. I was trying to think of Fetterman. That's how he got there. He hid out until the last minute, then jumped up there and said, "Good night, everybody," and they elected him.
I remember that.
Hello, good night. I'm elected.
Well, like I said, these politicians are not running anything. They're being run. It's the
I got a question for you. I want to change the subject just a little bit. You ready?
Right.
This should be interesting. Yeah. Something that happened yesterday. If a journalist knows that something is going to happen that will endanger, harm, or be destructive to people, property, whatever, and they go to cover the people that are going to do such damage, vandalism, whatnot, do they have a responsibility to say something before the harm is done? And if they're there for it and the harm is done, are they then an accessory to that harm?
That would be a discussion for those who make laws.
That's a very good question. I'm gonna reserve my time.
But I'm curious what the chat thinks. Because it I was surprised. I was surprised that somebody who I consider not unbiased, because there you can't not be biased. But I was surprised that somebody who I thought had pretty good moral standard would allow somebody or be witness to somebody vandalizing artwork and allow it to happen, knowing that it's going to happen. Well, Boxer, he knows. He's being told every time he's in with these protest groups, and they, you know. So 2 days ago, he was in DC, and the climate activists blocked the street in DC. Then the next day, I see on Twitter a short video clip of these environmental protesters who are mad about the Willow Project up in Alaska, Alaska. Shoot, now I'm confused. I don't remember if it's Antarctica or Alaska, the Willow Project. But, and they're mad that Biden just approved that. Even though he didn't approve the whole thing, he actually limited them to what they were able to do, but still allowed it to happen. So they're mad about that. So they went out and they blocked the George Washington Parkway. And the police then came out and made arrests and ended it. Which is fascinating in itself, because the Virginia officer, the park officer, said that Virginia law is different and that they faced 12 months in prison, and it was a whole different set of circumstances, and it wasn't just a misdemeanor. It wasn't something minimal that they were going to be charged with. They wanted that too. Yeah, Al, that was an insurrection. Based on your, pardon me. But yeah, they did it, but he didn't live stream that one, which I thought was really interesting, because it was a Washington Parkway. And in the video that I saw from someone else, I go, oh, he's there. Let me see if he's live streaming. He didn't live stream it. So I thought it was interesting that you had those two different events, neither of which were live streamed. So he didn't live stream it, but he was there to witness and document it. And I'm just very surprised that he allowed that to happen. Now, the artwork itself wasn't actually damaged, which they just put paint all over the Lexan cover on the I don't know what the statue of the little girl is, but these two nut jobs, sort of like what's been going on. I just thought it was interesting that a journalist could have stopped it, but chose to watch it happen and allow it happen. Obviously, there's certain things you can't. And I've actually seen him step in. There was what's his name that is in jail in the UK? Julian Assange. Sorry. There was a Julian Assange protest in DC that it was covering this man stripped naked, poured lighter fluid or gasoline all over him, and was going to light himself on fire for this Julian Assange. And he stepped out from in front of the camera, or from behind the camera, to try to stop it. So I know that when it comes to somebody hurting themselves, he obviously stepped in and did the right thing.
Ford did that. I missed that part of it. Ford actually did that.
Yeah, no, Ford did that.
I missed that part. I sure did. I saw that, but I missed that.
Yeah, boxer. I thought it took security because like every time I've been, especially in the National Gallery, they're everywhere, right? They're watching certain things, you know, they're kind of standing by, but they're also like the don't touch anything police. They're not the, you know, these guys were actually, they looked armed. But they were elderly, that's for sure. And it was interesting to watch that arrest. I don't know. It was just something that caught my attention that I was curious what you guys. No marks, you're absolutely correct. Hope and change. Yeah.
Hope I have a little change after this is all over.
Well, I'm surprised nobody's coming up on the panel. We got a couple hundred people in chat. You know, where are you now? Where
No,
are you
I know
now?
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring this to an end. Actually,
Right on.
I'm gonna go wash the dog and do some other stuff. But
Well,
this has
I'll
been
see.
fun,
I'm going to go panel whore somewhere else tonight, probably.
and that's just
Go-
fine. You're not the only one, Gra. Like
You
you
can go
said, it was
burn
the pot calling the kettle the pot.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
like that? Yeah.
You can go burn a
Yeah,
stogie
just-
there, Wysi. Light
Yeah,
up one
no,
of those.
I'm gonna enjoy a Friday
striped
night
cigars.
off. So,
I remember seeing you
hey, Michael.
light up those cigars and have a little wine.
Michael, you have a new name. How are you, buddy?
Oh, hell. I was wondering why I didn't see him.
Yeah, no. Well, you got here just at the end, unless you've
Yeah,
been
right on
around for a
time.
while.
Good to see you.
I'm going to
And
take this
congratulations
time.
on your new job, Michael.
I'm going to take this time and jump off now. It was nice talking to you and seeing you again.
Glad you joined
Have
us,
a
Ed.
good day.
Thank you.
Yep,
See
bye.
you, bud.
See you later, Ed.
All right, Michael, you're gonna have to tell me about the new job sometime. But for now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say goodbye. Gra, I'm glad you came up and hung out, and it's always
Listen,
nice to
yeah.
have you here.
Good to see you back. Good to see you back.
We'll be
I
back
know I
again.
speak for almost everybody in
you
chat.
know,
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody's wanting to know.
It's funny, Gra. I've seen more of the haters in other channels going, "When's Wysi coming back? We miss him. We
I
miss
know.
him."
They
They hate me so much they can't wait for me to come back. But
it really is true. It really is true. And I'm not joking. I
I'm
said
sort of
something
flattered,
earlier.
actually. By the way, like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they really do love me.
I get messages. I'm not exaggerating. I get messages every day. Like, I know what you're doing with your life. I have people ask me every day, "Where's Chris? Where's?" I'm like, I really don't. I have not talked to him. I don't know. So
Yeah.
just so
No,
everybody
no,
knows, quit sending me text messages asking me where Chris is. I don't fucking know.
They're all sworn to secrecy, so they can't tell you anyway. But no, I'm just working and getting this new job. Gra, do you know how hard underwater deep sea welding is?
Holy crap! Really?
It's not as hard as nuclear physics. It might be. It's hard to say. I haven't really done either, but it's always just a fun question.
I don't know a lot about that. I know a little bit about that, but not a lot. But I know it's more than just hitting a striker in front of your blowtorch. It's just
Well, yeah, you know. It's weird though. Like manure salesman's also tough, but I don't know if that's tougher than.
Good question. Hope had a
deep-sea
good
welding.
question there.
Say it again.
Hope has a good question.
What was Hope's question?
Well,
Oh, is it like underwater basket weaving? I've weaved baskets when I was a kid. I remember we had a basket weaving class in school. It wasn't an entire class, but it was something art, crafts and whatnot. Maybe it might have been summer camp. I honestly don't remember, but I do remember making baskets and,
but it wasn't
if
underwater.
I had to make a
so that's
seat
not
for
really-
a chair, I could do that out of webbing and, that's where that skill
Man,
comes in. But I
you
remember
should go
soaking
on
the
Naked and
basket
Afraid.
material in,
You could do Naked and Afraid and be a hit then, couldn't you?
Yeah. I know at the house here we have quite a collection of shoot, now I can't.
Anyway, thanks for letting me rant, man.
baskets,
You have no idea how nice it is to be able to say just a little bit about what I want to say, because I know you're probably going to take a
You're free to. No, you're free to, Grow. You can say whatever you want.
Right on. And it's everybody. You should be able to. There's no such thing as hate speech. That's something else they made up. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. We're glad to see you in there. I know everybody wants to know when we'll see you again. Any idea?
No, I know. And just remember, Gra, you are uncancelable.
All right.
Okay. All right. For now, everybody, thank you very much for joining me. It's been fun. Gra, get out of here. We're gonna go wash the dog. Tucker needs a bath. So we'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks very much for now. Till then, bye-bye. Maybe.